electrolytes, bold flavors, and zero added sugar. Prime helps keep you going strong whether you're on the field, in the gym, or just repping Laverne Pride. Stop by your local stores right here in Laverne and grab a bottle of Prime today. Because champions don't just play, they prime up.
See, I was like double clicking everything. I didn't even. So you hit the three buttons and then it just.
Well,
worked?
this is just picking up this sound. It's not picking up the mixer.
Oh.
So it's very different, very different.
What lies ahead for you after graduation?
After graduation, hopefully I go to college. College is the main goal. College is the main goal. I'm planning on to major in finance, studying in the being a financial advisor. You know, hopefully all that plans out. But I'm gonna leave it all to God because this is His world. We just living in it.
Do you intend to pursue football or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got you.
Hopefully the opportunity comes for me to go play above, pro level. But as I said, I'm gonna just leave it all up to God.
Are there some schools in mind that you might be leaning towards right now?
Really, I've been talking to some schools. I only have one offer from North Vergne in Minnesota. But I've been talking to all types of schools. Campbellville and Kentucky. But really, one school that catches my mind to going to play to, really MTSU.
Last thing I'll ask you: what are you most looking forward to about this season?
We got to come and prove everybody wrong. We got no more excuses, sir. We got a new head coach, new coaching staff. It's all on us now. We always got to prove something to this new region we in 6A, one of the hardest regions, in Tennessee. So we really got to come differently and prove everybody wrong.
You feel like you have to earn respect this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, very, very much. They're looking at us as a laughing stock. We came out 0-10 last year, so we got to come very different this year.
We're going to jump over and talk with Drayden DeMoss now, quarterback. And Drayden, I saw you last night. I told Coach when we were talking earlier, that is it's a stout Page defense.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't back down one bit throughout that whole game. I mean, it was impressive. What was it like? I mean, did you enjoy that challenge?
Yes, sir. I love that, challenge. I didn't really back down. I didn't really see them, nothing less. I didn't really see them, just, oh my gosh, I'm finna be scared of these guys. I always had to fight it and I always had to drop it because I always believed in myself. So I always thought I can, do everything. So, just seeing them, I wasn't nah, I'm not finna play my best. I'm not finna be scared because they did have some big guys out there. Like Eric Hazard, he was getting through every single play. But I still try my best. I still drove.
Well, that's the thing. There were times that he was back there almost as quickly as the ball got to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no doubt about it. Anyway, what about this season? Look, we were talking about the schedule. Oakland's in there, Riverdale's in there, Blackman's nowhere else. Any of it. You don't worry about any of it. You like playing all the Rutherford schools together?
I love it. It's I've always been doing this my whole life, even Little League. I remember my first time ever playing football, I played for Blackman, so I've really been playing against the same people all my life. So it's not gonna make me back down at all. I'm ready to compete with all of them.
It's gonna make it fun on Friday nights, isn't it?
It's gonna be a challenge too.
What lies ahead for you after graduation?
College.
Do you have places you want to go?
And MCSU, SMP, those are two colleges I have in mind.
I got you. And are you looking to continue football?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? As a quarterback, are you looking maybe different spot?
First option is quarterback, but I can always move because I'm versatile. I can really play all positions. I can run, I can throw, I can really do everything. And I'm really just a dog, I love to compete.
Are you on the track team?
No, sir. Never ran track.
I've been trying to get him for about 2 or 3 years.
What would you put me?
Well, whatever his time suggests.
I got you. Any chance you add track to your resume this year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So I can really be faster. Like, I ran like the 40-yard dash this year, and I ran like a 4.53, and that was kind of like shocking to me because I didn't really think I was that fast.
What are you going to study?
Studying business.
What does it mean to you when you take the field on a Friday night, families in the stands, communities in the stands? Do you recognize how important football can be to a community?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Football is like the biggest sport. Everybody loves football. So, just me being out there for like Laverne, I'm really out there to really represent Laverne, really put Laverne on my back. You know what I'm saying? Really just represent them the great way, nothing bad,
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I wish you the best of luck. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again play this year. I enjoyed it last year. So good luck to you. Chris Bosen back here at Vergne High School. I hope you enjoyed those interviews with Drayden DeMoss and Kevin Ruiz of the Vergne Wolverines as we met with them during Media Day up at Nissan Stadium this summer. What a great event that was, hosted by the Tennessee Titans and the Tennessean. They brought in all schools were invited from Middle Tennessee, and they were able to come up there and have a great media day and do interviews, get pictures taken and all that kind of thing. And you had Aiden Emmons was up there. Corbin Reynolds was there for Riverdale. We heard the interviews from them earlier this season, but we were able to talk to a lot of the Region 3-6A opponents for the Warriors. And Ethan, it was a quick halftime, it appears, as Riverdale's back out on the field. Laverne is here as well. 27-0 is your halftime score. And it's kind of weird to think about it, but 27-0, and there's a lot to work on.
Absolutely. And, the big thing I was thinking about in my head as we're going through scores and we're, letting the interviews play is, can you imagine what this game would look like right now if Laverne could move the ball on offense, right? Because defensively, they've done a good job of keeping up with the Warriors. The only difference is that when your defense is on the field for so much longer than your offense, obviously you're going to give up points. But if Laverne was moving the ball offensively, we're probably in a they're within reach right here. There have been a lot of things that just have not been clicking for Riverdale.
Well, defense travels, and thankfully Riverdale's got a really good defense. They've dropped 2 games this season already, but that was not because of their defense. It's a struggle to score offensively at times, and they've played some very good defenses, but they've been in those games in part because you can really count on this defense coming to play week in and week out.
Absolutely, and that's what's really kept them in these games, but the offense has really struggled. We thought that coming after the game against Father Ryan, they'd start getting things moving, right? I mean, they had that tune-up game. You think they'd be great. They come into last week, they had some issues, and the biggest thing still being in the red zone. They had some missed opportunities there. They've shown missed opportunities in the red zone today, and that's what's really killing them. It's like an engine, they're shifting great gears 1 through 5, but once they try to go into 6th gear, it's just clogging up. Once they get within 20, 25 yards, they start to struggle. And that's something you just cannot allow yourself to do.
Again, I'd like to see a drive where they go to that tempo. I liked that 2-minute drive that they ran in about 30 seconds to get 85 yards or so to score a touchdown earlier this year. They just looked like they weren't thinking, they were just doing. And maybe they don't play that way all the time, but sometimes I think maybe that would be a way to spark this offense.
Absolutely. You need to start clicking. It's week 4. There's no longer all right, well, we're just getting back into it. You have to get things rolling here. And I think you're right. If you can connect on plays here or there, make it look a little bit effortless, that would do wonders for them. But a part of that is they can't run the ball today. I mean, Laverne's done such a wonderful job of winning the battle at the line and stopping Jacob Vaughn that they don't have anything to keep them on their toes.
Riverdale will get the football to start after Laverne won the toss tonight. A 35-yard touchdown from Hampton to Reynolds put the Warriors in front with 7:50 to go in the first quarter. It was 7-0, that 10-play, 80-yard drive. And then Riverdale scored a 43-yard field goal from Miles Weaver to make it 10-0 with 2:32 to go in the first quarter. A Hampton to Reynolds touchdown pass from 6 yards out made it 17-0 with 8:55 to play in the first half. It was 20-0 with 2:44 to go in the first half after a 23-yard field goal from Weaver. And then you cap it with a 5-play, 40-yard drive that took 36 seconds off the clock. A Hampton to Luke Tritch 10-yard touchdown pass made it 27-0 with 24 seconds to go in the first half. That's how the first half played out.
27 points on the board, 3 touchdowns from your quarterback, Gavin Hampton, a pair to Reynolds, 1 to Tritch, and a couple of field goals from Miles Weaver, who looks really good as a place kicker. And if you are in some close games that you need a field goal, I feel real confident with that battery of Dees, Rolling, and Weaver.
Absolutely. Special teams has been great all season long. It's one of the things that there are no worries about.
Weaver will kick it right to left to get us underway here in the second half. It drives the returner back inside the 5. He's going to come across here on the near sideline and then step out of bounds. It's Jason Beta Baldwin. And Beta Baldwin will give the Wolverines 1st and 10 to start this second half. I misspoke there. Laverne won the toss. They deferred. I said Riverdale. We got a lot going on up here, but I'm, putting it together. It's week 4 for me. I got to clean up the little things as well.
Well, to be fair, though, this is also our first road game, and we don't really have a defense with us to travel, so we're...
Yeah, I got to lean on just us. It's going to be at the 23-yard line for the Wolverines. 11:52 to go here, third quarter. We're just underway. 27-0, Riverdale in front. DeMoss from the gun, right up the middle. He's got running room. He's hit and gets across the 30-yard line. Look, Drayden DeMoss is a gamer, just a flat-out gamer. He's fearless. He's a leader, and, he never backs down.
I mean, he's tough. He's taken a lot of big hits in this game, and for an offense where you know that as soon as the ball gets in the quarterback's hand, chances are he's going to be looking to run. It's hard to go up against a great defense because you're going to take a lot of hits, but he's just fearless.
8-yard pickup on 1st and 10 makes it 2nd and 2 from the Laverne 31-yard line. This time he's going to fake the give and take it out on that left edge, and you can hear the pads pop from up here as, DeMoss is not a small quarterback himself as he goes 6'3", 155 pounds. He hits bigger than 155, though.
And he plays bigger as well.
Gets that to the 33, so that's a first down on the 2-yard pickup on 2nd and 2 to get a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 Wolverines at the 33-yard line. And Coach Chris Johnson leaning on his senior quarterback and his offensive line here. He'll now go with 5 wide receivers, 4 to the near side of the field, 1 to the short side of the field. On the far side, DeMoss looks to the near sideline here. Now he talks to his receiver out on that left side. 4 linemen for Riverdale. They spread out the defenders. Got Czar Morris out here in coverage. DeMoss will run it himself. DeMoss across the 40, 45-50, 45-40, 35-30, 25-20. He's being chased by Reams, and here comes a penalty flag, another penalty flag after they shoved DeMoss out of bounds. That's going to tack on yardage, Ethan. They moved those defenders out to the wings to cover the 5 receivers, and DeMoss took it right between the tackles.
Typically, when you go to a formation like that, they expect that you're either going with some form of a deep pass, right, or at least a screen because you have so many guys bunched up on the right. Instead, they go quarterback counter. He cuts straight through the gap, and, I mean, that's just a big play and great play design there to get the defense off guard.
It gets it to the Riverdale 18-yard line, but they're going to tack on more. Personal foul against Riverdale.
Personal foul on the Warriors.
So let's see.
That's an additional 15 yards.
That's 49 yards on the carry, and then it should be half the distance from the 18. I think they're going to spot this at the 9. Let's wait and see. Oh, they spotted at the 11. So, okay, it's at the 11-yard line. 1st and 10 at the Riverdale 11 after the 15-yard personal foul tacked onto the 49-yard run by DeMoss. They'll go with 4 wide receivers now, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Ball's on the far hash. They move left to right, pistol formation. And DeMoss is pressured in the backfield. He could not turn the corner there, and he's taken to the ground by a Riverdale defender. It's Hudson Fuqua closing in to get the sack, and it'll set up 2nd and long.
They send Fuqua coming in on the blitz, and he just eats that play up. It's a typical option. But I think that there's only so many times you can get away with just design quarterback runs before, obviously, this defense starts to converge back in.
Loss of 4 back to the 15. It'll be 2nd and 14 at the Riverdale 15-yard line. Ball's just across the 15 towards the 16, but we'll say the 15 for now. They'll stay again with 5 wide receivers. So they're going back to that look we just saw moments ago that allowed DeMoss to pick up 49 yards. Works from the gun, empty backfield. 3 receivers right, 2 to the left. Defensive front of Riverdale shifts, and there's movement up front offensively. The stemming from the defensive front drew motion from the offensive line for the Wolverines.
That's going to set them back a few yards, and that's big for the Warriors. That's the kind of stuff that Chris Johnson's going to work through his team with. Obviously, we've talked. I mean, it's a program that's clearly on the rebuild. But you hate to have the big play, right, that starts getting worked back from penalties and just, rough play calling.
Now the official's going to get together out by the football and talk it over to see. And not sure what they're talking about. And it could be, are they simulating? You cannot simulate a snap count. You cannot simulate something like that vocally. And they may be checking and being sure that they're watching for anything like that from the defensive front.
It very well could be something of the sort, and yeah, I think that you're right.
And it is a penalty against Riverdale on this.
Penalty against the Warriors.
And so they may have ruled that they simulated that, and that moves it against Riverdale back to the 10-yard line. So that'll be 2nd and 9 from the Riverdale 10. I thought it was going to go. They can get a first down at the 1-yard line. Thought that was going to go against Laverne. Instead, it goes against Riverdale. 9:21 to go here, third quarter. 5 wide receivers for Drayden DeMoss, the tenacious senior signal caller who wears number 1 for the Wolverines. Ball's between the hashes. He'll bring motion left to right now. Now he'll going to run around left tackle, find some running room across the 5 and get into the end zone. Drayden DeMoss, the touchdown run from 10 yards out. He got around that edge. There was nobody out there, and he takes it into the end zone. The Wolverines are on the board for the first time tonight. They pull a little bit closer to Riverdale here with 9 minutes to go in the third. It's 27-6, and the extra point is pending. That was a nice run and a nice drive executed by Drayden DeMoss.
Absolutely. I mean, that was all DeMoss right there. Making big plays, finding ways to find lanes, get past defenders, and that time just cutting it way out to the outside, seeing that there's nobody there in the back corner, and finding a way to get into the end zone to put the Wolverines up on the board.
That drive started at the Laverne 23-yard line. Chapitali here for the extra point. The snap is high. The hold is down. The kick is away, and it is good. With 9 minutes to play in the third, it's 7-27 now as the Wolverines. And now we've got a penalty flag once again. We can't get too many plays without a penalty flag, Ethan. It's part of the rules.
We're allowed a maximum of 3. 4 if we're behaving.
And particularly on extra points and things, we're seeing a lot of flags this year, where we've seen a few tonight. And so we've got a penalty flag here that I think is going to be marked off. Flag sits at the 20-yard line. I guess it'll be marked off on the kickoff. And kick is good. Now he's going to put a hand up. And dead ball, foul against Riverdale.
The extra point is good.
We didn't get any indication of what exactly it was. Unsportsmanlike. That can be language. That can be a variety of things. But it will be against Riverdale. And so that penalty will be marked off prior to the kickoff. So the drive started at the 23-yard line. It was a 77-yard drive. And it was all DeMoss. DeMoss carried it for 8, then for 2, then for 49. Tack on a personal foul penalty. Then he was sacked by Hudson Fuqua. And then a Warriors penalty moved it a bit closer by 5 yards. And then DeMoss on a 10-yard run. So a 77-yard drive, 6 plays, and it uses 2 minutes, 52 seconds off the third quarter clock and results in Laverne getting a 10-yard touchdown run from their quarterback, Drayden DeMoss, to make it a 27-7 ball game. Riverdale still comfortably in front, and their offense will see the football for the first time here in the second half coming up. And we'll see what they worked on at halftime.
It's going to be a very shallow kick here after the penalty. If I was Laverne, I'd try and go offsides here, or onside here. I'd go for an onside kick, see if you can get something back.
Why not? You're going to kick it from the Riverdale 45-yard line, so it's got to get to the Warrior 35.
To kick the ball to the Warriors.
Worst case scenario, they get the ball at the 35.
Yeah, exactly. So why not go for it? You're down by 20. You're in a region game. You're trying to snap a, what'd you say, 15-game losing streak?
15 straight games, and they haven't won a home game since August 17th of 2023.
So you're 3 years having not won a home game. Coach Johnson, what do we got to lose? Let's see. Do they go for the onside? Nope, they kick it away. And they'll drive this one into the end zone. But look, with the way the defense has been playing, the way Riverdale has struggled at times to move the ball, maybe you can get a defensive stop here, force a punt, and get the ball back to your offense. That was an impressive drive by DeMoss.
Absolutely. I mean, just putting the team on his back and driving the Wolverines into the end zone for the first time. Here's a big drive for the Warriors. You want to respond because while it doesn't feel like Laverne might be in this game, they most certainly are if anything happens here on this drive.
Yeah, you don't want to give them much hope. You don't want to give them much life moving forward in this game. You had a 27-0 lead into the locker room. Now it's 27-7. You still have a comfortable 20-point advantage. Hampton will start 1st and 10 from his 20. 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Vaughn to his left side. Ball on the far hash. They go right to left. Hand it off. Vaughn. Vaughn finding running room this time. Breaks it out to almost the 30-yard line. Let's see, did he step out before there? I think he did, maybe at the 29 on that far sideline. It should be 2nd and 1, but a nice 9-yard pickup there on 1st down. Big chunk for Vaughn on 1st and 10.
And you want to see more of that from Riverdale. They've really struggled this week and last week with establishing the run game consistently. And it would be huge if they could find a way to really run the ball and almost run over Laverne here in the second half.
And it's a good way to get some confidence for those new offensive linemen. We've talked about the changes up front. If you can just say, hey, man, just go push that blocking sled, push those guys forward. Let's get some ground game going, see what we can do. 2nd and 1 from the 29-yard line. Vaughn stays on the left of Hampton. Hampton will throw this time, looking downfield, airs it out, has a receiver behind the defender. It's Reynolds. Reynolds in a foot race. Reynolds at the 10, at the 5, into the end zone. Corbin Reynolds. I look for any laundry on the field. There is none. Corbin Reynolds. From 71 yards away, Gavin Hampton delivered it. Single coverage, and Reynolds beat it. Touchdown, Warriors. 8:40 to go, 3rd quarter. Riverdale in front, 33-7 with your extra point from Miles Weaver on the way.
And Reynolds is having himself just an absolute game right here. His 3rd touchdown on the night. Gets past the defense on the go route, and there was nobody who was going to be able to catch up with him once he makes the catch.
2 plays, 80 yards. It uses 20 seconds off the clock. That's what I'm talking about. That's Warrior offense, or at least when they seem to be playing their best. The kick is up from Weaver, and it is good. And a 2-play drive makes it 34-7 with 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the 3rd. It looks like they got a message at halftime, and they responded to that message with a 2-play drive. Hampton to Reynolds for 71 yards on the touchdown.
Well, what sets that up is the running game. They finally break off a decent-sized run again, and all of a sudden the defense has to play up to it. They have to get ready for Vaughn, and that gives them space over the top. The reason why the offense looks so good against Father Ryan, they could run the ball. The reason why they didn't look as great against Knoxville Catholic and Blackman, they couldn't run the ball.
You're exactly right. And 9 yards on 1st and 10 gives you 2nd and short, and it allows you to take that deep shot. Because if it's incomplete, 3rd and 1, you feel like you can go pick it up. If you get a yard on 1st down and then you throw deep, now you're looking at 3rd and long. That's a different setup there. So you're exactly right. Vaughn's 1st down carry, the offensive line got him those 9 yards. That set up the big touchdown to Reynolds, and Riverdale responds to the first touchdown of the night for Laverne with one of their own. They're back to a 27-point advantage here.
95 to pick the ball up.
20 seconds, 80 yards, 2 plays. Kickoff from Weaver will be fielded inside the 10. It's returnable across the 20, the 25, and then tripped up right there is the returner before he could get to the 30-yard line.
Returned by number 4, Jason
That's Beta Baldwin on the return. We'll see what DeMoss can do here. You know, he's another quarterback that's fun to watch. We saw Javion Elliott last week for Blackman. I can't say that Warrior fans thought he was fun to watch, but he's certainly talented. Drayden DeMoss is another good quarterback. He's not as much of a dual threat as Elliott was, much more comfortable running the football, but he certainly is tough and tenacious.
He's fun for us to watch.
33 to go in the 3rd quarter. 34-7 is your score. It's that 27-point advantage. It also, that touchdown from Laverne prevents that rolling clock from getting into play any earlier, potentially. We have seen that this season against Father Ryan. So DeMoss will go 5 wides again. They had success on this on the last drive. Now we'll bring motion right to left. DeMoss will tuck it, and this time the defensive front got to DeMoss before he could find much of an opening. Ball comes out. Riverdale says they have it, but I think DeMoss was down.
I think he was down as well.
Yeah, the officials did not signal a turnover. Got it to the 31, a 2-yard gain. DeMoss fumbled earlier, and Riverdale did take it. Gets a 2-yard gain here. It'll be 2nd and 8 at the Wolverine 31. They like that 4 wide and 5 wide setup. They'll go 5 once again, because that's where they've found some space in the Riverdale defense. Let's see if the Warriors have adjusted. Drayden DeMoss, 4 receivers right, 1 to the left. In the gun, takes the snap. Wants to throw, airs it down the left side, and coming back and making a nice play on the football and hauling it in is the receiver over there.
Wow.
And that is a nice play on the back shoulder. Isaiah Welch caught it, and it'll be a 1st down Wolverines.
That's a great catch to make the adjustment, turning around, falling back to make that catch. It's low as well in double coverage. That's a big play right there, and might give him some confidence to start putting the ball in the air more.
That's a 20-yard gain to the Riverdale 49-yard line on 2nd and 8, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the Riverdale 49 for the Wolverines. They got beat 30-6 last week against Rockville, a game that they had to move down to Rockville to play on the artificial turf after all of the rain we had in Middle Tennessee last weekend. So many games were ruled no contest or moved to Saturday or interrupted or canceled. 1st and 10 from the 49. 3 receivers left, 2 to the right. DeMoss pressured. He's flushed out of the pocket, runs forward. Evans is going to try to contain him. He can't. He gets around the edge on the far side on the Riverdale sideline. A nice pickup for DeMoss to the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 as DeMoss doing it himself.
Absolutely. He's finding ways to still pick up yardage. Those are guys that you don't want to play against a lot because eventually they'll snap something free. We've already seen it once. Wouldn't be surprised if DeMoss finds a way to break away for another big run later on.
Now it'll be 2nd and 5 for Laverne from the Riverdale 44-yard line. We are down to 7:15, and the clock is stopped as DeMoss went out of bounds on that possession. Ball sits on the far hash. They'll go 5 wide receivers once again. 3 left, 2 to the right. Motion right to left. Low snap. DeMoss has it. Wants to throw it. It's high. It's tipped. It is picked off by Elijah Reams, I believe, for Riverdale, as he may come away with it. Elijah Reams on the interception. That's who I think it is. Again, those 6 and 8s.
And intercepted by number 26, Reams.
Elijah Reams on the interception, and Riverdale gets the turnover. We've said DeMoss is more comfortable running the ball than throwing the football. They seem to sail a bit on him, but you got to take those shots sometimes after setting it up, and that one just got tipped a little bit. Reams made a good play on it.
Absolutely, and it's the only way you're going to be able to move the ball at a certain point because as many quarterback runs as they've had that have worked for them, they've had even more that haven't.
1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. 7:07 to go here in the 3rd quarter for the Warriors. Hampton wants to throw, looking for Talley. It's over his head in Laverne territory, but he had his receiver open there in a space between a couple of Laverne defenders.
Absolutely. He had a good bit of separation from the primary corner who was on him, along with the safety who was out to the side. That's going to be a big gain if he can just hit that throw.
Had to drop it over the one defender, but it just sailed a bit, went out of bounds. Talley couldn't catch up to it. It'll be 2nd and 10 now from the Riverdale 30-yard line. They go right to left, ball to the far hash. 3 receivers to the left of Hampton this time. Vaughn on his right side and a single receiver to the short side of the field. Pump fake left. Now he'll throw it to Tritch, and that sails high as Hampton is leveled to the turf. Pressure came in. That's one thing we have seen with Hampton this year at times is the ball tends to sail a little bit on him. He's a tall quarterback at 6'3", and that one got up above Tritch. He couldn't go up and get it.
Yeah, and that time there's just a little bit of a hurried throw because you're supposed to fake the handoff and then go with the screen pass. He kind of bobbled the handoff after he faked it, and so he just kind of tried to lob it back over to Tritch, put it well over his head just a young quarterback making a mistake. That's all it is.
Now you set up with 3rd and 10. We will go back to that last drive, the 9-yard pickup on first down for Vaughn that led to the big touchdown pass to Reynolds. Instead here, they've thrown incomplete on 1st and 2nd down. Now they face 3rd and 10 from the 30. Hampton trying to convert in the gun. Has some time, looks to Tritch on the left side. Tritch has the first down across the 40 to the 45-yard line, and that outlet reception, Hampton went to him, Tritch does the rest, and it extends the drive, 1st and 10, Riverdale.
They was wide open. There was no one on him. He just makes the catch in the flat and picks up a gain. All he had to do was turn and run straight. That's more of a miscommunication for Laverne, just not having a man on him.
That's a 17-yard pickup, 1st and 10, Warriors at their 47, near hash. That's where the football sits. 2 receivers, now make it 3. Reynolds wide to the right side. It's Tritch on the near side on the right side. Tally between Reynolds and Tritch. Single receiver over on the left side, and Vaughn to the right of Hampton. Hampton going to roll to his right. Wants to throw, finds a wide open Corbin Reynolds at the 25-yard line. Corbin Reynolds into the end zone. Another big strike from Hampton to Reynolds. This one goes for 53 yards. Reynolds had no blue shirts around him with 5:59 to go in the 3rd quarter. Riverdale extends its lead 40-7 with the extra point pending. Corbin Reynolds and Gavin Hampton have found their connection tonight, Ethan.
Reynolds had a solid 10 to 15 yards between him and the nearest defender. I mean, there was no one who was going to get to him. What a great throw by Hampton on the run to put it right on the money for his 4th touchdown of the night.
And the 5th of the night passing for Gavin Hampton. The kick from Weaver out of the hold of Rolling, and the snap of D's is up, and it is good. With 5:59 to go here in the 3rd, it's 41-7. Here in this half alone, Reynolds has hauled in a 71-yard touchdown pass and now a 53-yard touchdown pass. That drive took 4 plays. It covered 70 yards, and they did it in 1 minute and 8 seconds. I like these drives. They have
they're fun.
20-second, 80-yard drive and a 70-yard drive that takes a glacial minute and 8 seconds off the clock.
There's definitely some things said in the locker room during halftime that seemed to have sparked this offense. And well, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
You know, look, you have to find your identity as a team, right? And that identity can evolve when you deal with some injuries and you deal with different things. I think it's pretty clear that what Hampton and what Coach Barnes may like to do, taking those deep shots that were just a little bit off the fingertips in the early games, in the first couple of games of the season. Now they're dialed in a little more, and man, that big strike, quick strike offense is fun when it's working.
Absolutely, and that's the identity they've wanted to establish this whole season, and so to see it start getting in rhythm is great. Now, how that translates against some other opponents is going to be what's interesting. But it's good to see that they're finally getting back into a rhythm.
It is the running clock situation now for the 34-point margin. 41-7, Riverdale is in front. And the clock rolls 5:27 and counting to play here from Vergne High School as the Warriors appear well on their way to evening their record both overall at 2-2 and in Region 3-6A competition at 1-1. And it is a get right game here. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. The ball is at the 25-yard line of Laverne. DeMoss wants to throw, looks left, it goes high through the hands of his intended receiver, Isaiah Welch. And we will, between quarters, try to check in with Josh Adams, our sideline reporter. I know we're having some technical issues there, but we will try that again coming up with Josh Adams when we get to the end of this 3rd quarter, which will come quickly based on the fact that we're in that rolling clock situation. And after the incompletion, it sets up 2nd and 10 at the Laverne 25-yard line. 4 receivers to the right side. They'll open it up again with those 5 wides, try to spread out the Riverdale defense. They put 3 down linemen. They'll swing it out to the right side. It's a low pass. Hudson Fuqua comes up and read that the whole way, even on the completion. There was nowhere to go for the receiver, Jacoby Miller. And Fuqua just covered it up. It'll be 3rd and long.
And that was a big hit, and he hit him high, too. That's the biggest thing. He went after him high, didn't go low, give him an opportunity to shake it free. And it's another 3rd and long.
Yeah, he loses yardage there. It'll be back to the 21, so a loss of 4. And it'll be 3rd and 14 from the Laverne 21 for the Wolverines. DeMoss brings motion right to left with 5 wides. He'll tuck it himself, and they read it once again, and that time it was Nate Underwood making the stop. Nowhere to go, and that's what you were saying earlier, Ethan. If you can't throw it, if you can't connect downfield, well, the defense is eventually going to adjust, and they're going to seal those gaps up front.
I mean, it doesn't matter who you have back there. Eventually, at some point, it's going to stall out. You know, you could have prime Michael Vick back there, but if all you can do is run quarterback keeper, eventually the defense is going to bottle it up, and they're just running into that problem all night.
Yeah, 4th and 14. I would bring on the punt unit, and back deep will be right at midfield for Riverdale. Rolling clock moves down to 2.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Kick is a low one. It'll be returnable for Tritch. Tritch at the 45. Tritch trying to pick his way through, does, into Laverne territory across the 45 and inside the Wolverine 40-yard line. We haven't seen a lot of Luke Tritch returning the football, but this talented freshman is multifaceted, and that would open up a new dimension to his game if he can start returning some punts.
Absolutely. We've typically seen Zayden Jones as the return man. So it's interesting to see Tritch getting involved. I'd say that we're going to see a lot of other faces on the offense. Obviously, right now, Vaughn's not out. It's going to be Peters. We've got a couple of different receivers out there. This is that part of the game we talked about earlier where they want to work in some new faces and get some guys playing time that might not see the field later on.
So Chris Peters comes in here at running back. Gavin Hampton still at the quarterback. We'll see some new guys. So Tritch stays on the field as well. Got some new receivers with him. Now Peters shifts to the right side of Hampton. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line of the Wolverines. Set up that throw to Talley. Talley slips past the defender, lowers his head and drives over a Laverne defender at the 30-yard line and gets it to the 28. Riley Talley put his head down and laid the shoulder right into the chest of a defender.
I'd say he's mad. He's had a tough night. There have been a couple of times where, you know, he's been the victim of an overthrow or two, so I'm sure he's looking to give something back to the defense.
11-yard pickup to the Laverne 28. Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10. Riverdale from there. Ball on the near hash now. Hampton will put 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Peters stays on his right hip. We're down to 55 seconds and counting to go here in the 3rd. Peters running left. Peters patiently picking his way across the 25-yard line before he's tackled there. The clock will continue to roll as Peters gets it to maybe the 24 or 23-yard line. Kevin Ruiz in on the stop. They will spot him at the 24, so a 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6 from there. And we will try to connect with Josh Adams here at the quarter break, which is coming up in 10 seconds. Hampton on 2nd down. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Peters to his left side. Gives it to Peters. Peters with running room. Peters at the 20. He's hit. Still drives forward to about the 16-yard line, perhaps. Chris Peters may have picked up 8 there, which would be enough for a 1st down. I think he did get it, and they will move those chains. And so Riverdale will have a 1st down when we start the 4th quarter. At the end of the 3rd, your score is Riverdale 41 and Laverne 7. We will try to go down and talk with Josh Adams. And Josh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Chris, I can hear you.
Excellent.
And, hopefully the audio is working a little better here.
It's working excellently. Josh, what's the vibe down there tonight? You've been down there all evening long. Riverdale's put 41 on the board tonight. They seem like they're finding their footing here in this game for the year.
Absolutely, absolutely. After Laverne started the quarter on a high emphasis note, Vern has been stuck by the team. Obviously, Corbin Reynolds and QB Hampton is having a heck of a game. Got to catch a little bit of the conversation with Coach after that first score in the third quarter, and he's expressing that he's definitely seeing a positive difference in the team. He still wants to see more, though. They may have a substantial lead, but they're certainly not yet. I've also noticed that this home team crowd energy has definitely affected the game. I mean, every big play, the fans are loud and out of their seats, just igniting the players here on the sidelines. So we'll see how much of that momentum carries into the fourth.
Josh Adams, the Riverdale offense has looked very good. Corbin Reynolds has 4 touchdowns tonight. I think we should try to grab him in the postgame if we get a chance, or Gavin Hampton, who's thrown 5 touchdowns here in this ballgame, the most as a varsity starter. That is Josh Adams down on the sideline here, and glad we were able to get his audio improved on this go-round as we get set to start the fourth and final quarter. It is first down, Riverdale, 1st and 10 after the carry by Peters. They will spot this at the 17-yard line, we'll call it. 1st and 10 from the Laverne 17, so gain of 7. They're going to bring it this side, and running over a defender is the ball carrier Jalen Waller, as they have Jake Rolling into the ball game now for the fourth quarter. Rolling replacing Hampton at quarterback.
Number 18, Waller.
And Waller on that sweep play, and we are going to start to see some replacements, I think, Ethan, and that's good as Waller gets it to the 10-yard line, a gain of 7.
It's smart. You don't want to get anybody hurt that you absolutely can't live without. It's fine to get some other guys worked in. You want to get some playing time for everybody at some point in the season, obviously, so this is probably the best time for it.
So Jake Rolling, the sophomore quarterback. He'll go 4 receivers, 3 wide to the left, 1 on the near side. He'll hand it off up the middle. Chris Peters dragging a tackler around his ankles across the 5-yard line. Chris Peters a first down. It'll be 1st and goal Riverdale as Peters drug a defender to get that first down.
He's a strong running back, and he runs hard. It's hard to take down Peters, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot of fun here in this quarter, especially with how tired this defense must be.
So Peters gets it to the 5-yard line, a gain of 5. It'll be 1st and goal from that Laverne 5-yard line. And Jake Rolling, 4 wide receivers. Peters on his right hip from the gun. Hands it off. Peters running left this time. Here comes pursuit. Penalty flag is down. I think that's going to be a hold against Riverdale and negate this touchdown run by Peters. That's something we've seen way too much this season, is points taken off the board. We talked about it a little bit earlier. This time, though, you're going to have a hold up front, and Peters loses the touchdown run.
This is a great play other than the hold, and it looked like the hold was away from the play is the thing. It's on the right side, not on the left. He's going to the left, so it's just another one of those senseless penalties that's going to take things off the board.
And, you know, and Peters is outside of that space. That lineman's not going to make that play. There's no need to commit that infraction there, but the hold will push it back. And look, there's going to be things to clean up in wins and in losses, and that's the thing. Coach Kreisky and the staff will go back to working on it. That 10-yard penalty on the hold makes it 1st and goal from the Laverne 15-yard line. Snap to Rolling. They'll toss it, and that's going to be Braxton Murdoch as they go with that. That's that little, you know, kind of jet look. It goes as a pass, even though it's just a toss in front. But if it's dropped, it's an incomplete pass. So Braxton Murdoch from Rolling there. It's the shortest pass a quarterback throws.
He lost a few yards, too. I'd say they're going to say he probably lost about 2 or 3.
It started at the 15, yeah, so they've got him back to the 18-yard line, a loss of 3 on the play. And it'll be 1st and goal from the Laverne 18. So Riverdale moving backwards here since they had it 1st and goal at the 5 with a holding penalty and a 3-yard loss on that completion. Rolling will hand it off up the middle. Peters inside the 15, and he's tackled hard there as he's pulled down from up around the shoulders. That's always that awkward way that you see the backs go down, but Peters popped right back up.
And I think one thing that's worth mentioning for this Laverne defense is that we talked about it before the game. There's obviously a huge difference in depth. Riverdale's entire roster is almost double the size of Laverne's. So one thing that we've seen in the second half that's given way to these big plays, they're just tired.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Riverdale's depth has certainly been big, and now a defensive end will jump offside, as that is David Garris, a sophomore for Laverne on the right side of that defensive front. And that'll give 5 free yards on 3rd and goal from the Laverne 13. It'll make it 3rd and goal from the Laverne 8. As the rolling clock has us down to 8:08 to go here in the ball game, 41-7. Riverdale is in front, and on a game that we called a get-well game after the heartbreak of the backyard brawl loss 17-10, a game that went down to the final play. It could have gone either way a week ago. Riverdale has gotten right on the scoreboard, but there are still things that they will want to clean up as they get set to go on the road again next week to Stewart's Creek, and that is going to be a much tougher test with Jamarcus Brown, the running back who had 8 touchdowns through the first 2 games of the season. Ball is on the ground in the backfield on the exchange between Rolling and Peters. It looks like Peters got back on it. Indeed he did, but miscue there with your backup quarterback and Chris Peters.
Yeah, and that's something you just can't have. I mean, understandably, he is a backup quarterback. He's not going to be out there the same amount of times, but you can't be fumbling handoffs.
At the 13-yard line, Peters did get back on it, a loss of 5. So it'll be 4th and goal from the Laverne 13. They'll attempt the field goal. It'll be a 29-yard attempt. It is up, rolling the holder. Weaver is good on the kick, and the clock is stopped now with 6:48 to go in the ball game. 44 to 7 on the, call it a 29-yard field goal for Weaver. That's his 3rd of the night, Ethan. And again, the special teams play has been pretty consistent, and those guys are working well. It seems like tonight the connection between Hampton and Reynolds, Hampton and Trish has taken another step forward. And now if that offensive line can just find their footing, literally, and continue to pave the way for Jacob Vaughn, that's going to be, I think, another development that'll benefit the Riverdale offense.
That, and the only thing other than that I've seen from this game that I can say, absolutely we got to work on would still be penalties. That and I've mentioned it, not to beat a dead horse, but red zone play. You've got to find ways to put on points. I mean, that's 4 points that were taken off the board by the hold there, right inside the 10. They kick a field goal, you could have had a touchdown. It could be 48-7.
Exactly. Here's the kick. We've got the reserve kicker for Weaver now coming in. It's bobbled across the 10-yard line by Laverne, and then they'll be tackled as I believe that TJ Burns wears number 95, a junior. I believe that was who the kicker was. Don't know if that was TJ Burns or not. Again, sometimes there are some changes with some of those numbers. They bring some different guys up. But Weaver did not kick that one off. It'll be 1st and 10, Laverne at the 21-yard line.
Well, you only have about 100 numbers to use on a roster. And when you have 103 guys, it definitely gets a little bit tricky.
We definitely have some duplicates for sure on the rosters. We hit the midway mark of the 4th quarter now. 6 minutes to play. Riverdale 44, Laverne 7. As the Warriors will move to 2-2 overall, 1-1, and in the final 6 minutes of this ball game, click off the clock. DeMoss, 5 wides, motion right to left. He'll tuck it, run it right up the middle, and he just, it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws, and DeMoss takes it right into the teeth, the jaws of the defense every down, it seems. And I mean, goodness gracious, he has to do it all on his own.
Yeah, and I think if I was Coach Johnson, I think I'd probably take him out. I'd go with something else. I mean, you're out of the game. Obviously, I'd say there's no sense in getting him hurt. That, or I'd just start throwing it all over the place. See if you can get the passing game in rhythm. But, bless him, he has really put in a lot of effort in this game. The scoreboard is not a reflection of his play specifically.
3-yard pickup on 1st and 10 makes it 2nd and 7 at the 24-yard line. And now we're going to get a timeout. And they will stop the clock. It'll be a timeout, Laverne. And maybe Chris Johnson saw that. I want to take a second. We talked earlier about the ties between these schools. Laverne assistant coach Ladarius Verge, he coaches the defensive line, won the 2007 5A Mr. Football Lineman Award. And he also was a first-team 5A All-State and All-Mid-State honoree at Riverdale, where his Warrior jersey was eventually retired. As a senior, Ladarius Verge was credited with 98 total tackles, including 21 for loss, 14 quarterback sacks. He forced 2 and recovered 2 fumbles, had 2 interceptions, scored 3 defensive touchdowns, and then went on to a fine career at Tennessee Tech. Wolverine assistant for defensive backs and special teams, Christopher Johnson Jr., was a letterman in football, basketball, and track as a Riverdale Warrior, playing for Coach Kreisky, where he caught 27 passes for 456 yards and 7 touchdowns as a senior in 2020, before going on to play at MTSU from 21 to 24. You heard Coach Kreisky in our Will Kreisky Coaches Show say that before he could even text Chris Johnson to congratulate him on taking the Laverne job, Coach Johnson texted, "Don't even talk to Chris. He's coming to work for me. He's mine," because Coach Kreisky was hoping to get Chris Johnson Jr. to join the Riverdale staff. And that did not play out. After the timeout for Laverne, 2nd and 7 for the Wolverines from the 24-yard line. They will hand this one off, and we do have DeMoss out of the game now, and that is why Coach Johnson, I think, called that timeout. Preserve your quarterback and live to fight another day and get some experience for some other guys here. And another penalty flag is thrown as De'Arian Hall got the carry. And tackle was made by Nick Hall, the sophomore D lineman. And dead ball penalty against Riverdale. And so that will move the ball. They will be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and the penalty yardage continues to mount this season against Riverdale. This takes it up to the 39-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10 from there at the 39. Sorry, Ethan.
And that's something they still got to work on, is those unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. They're penalties that you can control, and that's something that, you know, we're in week 4. We got to see those turned down.
So the new quarterback is James Harrington, a sophomore. Takes the pistol snap. He's going to hand it off to the back behind him, Michael Trotter. I'm a little surprised we didn't see more running from Trotter earlier. He's a big back and looks pretty good there. He gets the carry here, takes it across the 40 to the 42-yard line on the 3-yard pickup.
I agree with that. I feel like that would have been something that would help the offense to take some of the load off of DeMoss and at least run more option plays so that it doesn't have to be on DeMoss every play, but they're getting him worked into the game now.
Harrington now the quarterback, replacing the senior Drayden DeMoss. Trotter gets 3 on 1st and 10, make it 2nd and 7 from the 42 as we approach 3 minutes to go in the ball game. Wants to throw this time, has a receiver, does Harrington here on the near sideline. He completes the pass to Zaylin Jones, a sophomore tight end.
James Harrington's pass caught.
So Harrington to Jones.
Michael Trotter.
Well, I
Tackle by 21.
didn't think that was Trotter on the completion. But they get it up to the 48-yard line, 6-yard pickup. And they're going to move.
3rd down.
Thought it was 3rd down, but they're moving the chains.
I'm confused.
It was 2nd and 7 at the 42-yard line. They got it to the 48. How can that be a
First down.
first down? I'm totally confused. It's 1st and 10 at the Laverne 48. Handoff, Trotter. Trotter driving towards midfield at the 50-yard line. Ball comes out. Coming away with the football was a Riverdale Warrior. It was Jordan Bowen, the senior, but I think they said Trotter was down right at midfield at the 50. So Trotter picks up 2, and it'll be 2nd and 8. 2nd and 8 from the 50-yard line. Just a minute 40 to go in this ball game. Riverdale in front, 44-7. 44-7. Warriors in control. About a minute and a half away from picking up win number 2 of the 2025 season. Harrington throws it down the left side, leaping, intercepting it. Riverdale's defender going up and picking it off. Prince Curry L, the junior DB. inside the 35-yard line. It'll be Riverdale ball as Harrington is intercepted by Prince Curry L, and Riverdale will take over 1st and 10.
By number 21, Prince Curry.
Defense has played well once again. They give up the 1 touchdown on the opening drive of the second half by Laverne. All DeMoss going down and scoring it. Otherwise, they'd be looking at their second shutout of the season. But to give up 7 points, pretty good play by the defense, and they pick up another late turnover here.
Outside of that touchdown, I mean, it's three forced turnovers, a handful of tackles for a loss. I mean, they've just done a great job in this game. As we talked about earlier, defense travels. They're going to be good everywhere they go.
Under 30 seconds to play now. Jake rolling, 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line after the interception by Prince Curriel. He'll hand it off to the back in the backfield. Bounces off a couple of defenders and would-be tacklers. Cade Bonds, the 5'6 senior, on the carry across the 40-yard line. Gets it near the 45. They'll spot him at the 44. Bonds, an 11-yard pickup. And it'll be 1st and 10 from there, but that's going to be the final play. We are out of time as the running clock gets us to the end quickly. Riverdale 44, Laverne 7. They'll shake hands at midfield, and as they go through that handshake line, we will try to make our call down to Josh Adams, Ethan, but an impressive performance tonight as Gavin Hampton throws for 5 touchdowns. Corbin Reynolds gets 4 touchdown receptions. Reynolds hauls in 4. Hampton throws for 5. Tritch catches 1. Some nice field goals from Weaver, Dees, and Rolling, the field goal unit. And overall, a get-well game that showed the Warriors get well for the most part, but still things to work on.
Absolutely, there's still some things to work on. They still got to be better, more efficient in the red zone. They got to limit those penalties. They got to get more running lanes open for the running backs, Vaughn and Peters. But outside of that, the offense was clicking. I mean, Reynolds went off 4 touchdowns. Tritch looked as good as always. Hampton looked phenomenal. Things were finally getting back into a rhythm.
Josh, if you're with us there, I'm sure it is an excited Riverdale side, and we'll hope to, after the huddles break up, be able to get a word with Corbin Reynolds if we can. But a good game tonight for Riverdale. And Josh may not be quite with us yet, and so they'll wait. Josh will wait until the huddle is all done, and then we will try to get a word with him. But a nice win, and they've already taken the score off the board, 44-7 tonight. The victory, Coach Kreisky will talk with the Warriors, and they move to 2-2 on the 2025 season, and 1-1 now in Region 3 6A play. The Vergne Wolverines fall to 0-4. They are 0-2 in Region 3 6A play, and the Warriors will get the chance going down there. 9:22 here in Middle Tennessee, so a quickly played game tonight, in part because of that rolling clock and a lot of running. And even though the penalty flags often stopped the clock, they'll now take a knee down there. Ethan, your overall thoughts on this one as we wait for the huddle to break up and for Josh Adams, our sideline reporter, to maybe get a word with Corbin Reynolds?
It was a great game for the offense for the most part. As we've talked about all night, there still are some things to work on. You got to get better on. There's got to be no more unsportsmanlike penalties. Once we get later on the season, you play teams like Stewart's Creek or Oakland or Rockville. You cannot have that. You have to be better in the red zone. You got to take advantage of opportunities. And you got to be able to run the ball. You're moving a lot of pieces around on the offensive line, but you have to find lanes. If you find lanes, that opens up the deep passing game. But outside of that, I mean, Hampton looked great. Hampton looked as good as he's looked all season. The wide receivers looked in sync. Defense played as great as they always do. I mean, this was just a overall complete win to get a team back on track after such a tough loss.
Hopefully a lot of guys refound some confidence. Take a look at your unofficial stats for the Wolverines. Drayden DeMoss, the quarterback, 4 of 8 tonight, just 30 yards, an interception. Trotter, 2 catches for 14 yards. Welch, 1 catch for 20. Miller, a catch for -4 yards. On the ground game, Welch carried it 3 times, 0 yards. DeMoss had 14 carries unofficially, 84 yards and a touchdown. That was the 10-yard touchdown run, that opening drive of the second half. Trotter, 4 carries for 14 yards. That was the bulk of the offense. Drayden DeMoss, the senior getting most of it. And, of course, now as the huddle breaks up, we will stay in contact with Josh Adams, and Josh will try to get a word with Corbin Reynolds if he can, if and when he can. He will be tracking him down there, as well as now I think he might have him. We'll go down to Josh. And Josh, I don't know, remember to turn the switch on. There you go. I can hear you now.
All right, we're here with number 1, Reynolds. First of all, great game. You did awesome. Let me get these questions up for real quick. So you had an amazing game, obviously. How were you able to sustain such an outstanding offensive performance against a fairly decent Laverne defense?
All the credit goes to my coaches, quarterback, people around me, because without them, I wouldn't get in the position I am now with the routes, play calling, just little things like that.
Absolutely, awesome. And we saw out there the connection between you and your quarterback, Gavin Hampton, has been an electric sight to watch. Can you speak kind of on the connection you guys have and how the team's relationship has helped you all's overall success?
Oh, yeah. Playing with Gavin, honestly, it's really great. Like, he does a lot of things that a lot of quarterbacks that you see in high school can't do, and he's a really impressive quarterback. So he made the transition playing with him really easy, to be honest.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the time, man. You go celebrate the win.
Yes, sir.
That's Corbin Reynolds. And Josh, if you can still hear me down there, it's a pretty excited Riverdale group, and they'll go on next week to go to Stewart's Creek, but it's sure nice for them to come on the road here to Laverne in a get-right game and put 44 points on the board.
Absolutely. And obviously it wasn't pretty to start the game, but this was a must-win, especially with it being a regional game. You know, there's a lot more emphasis on that to just make sure that they're doing good in the regional standings. But this is definitely a get-right win for sure, and hopefully they can carry that momentum on to the next game and even work as good to play as good against opponents.
And, Josh, I'm going to let you wrap it up from down there. Good work down there tonight. I'm glad that the sun finally set and it cooled off a little bit, turned into a pretty Middle Tennessee evening.
Absolutely.
Josh Adams down on the sideline. We will let him come on up. And, Ethan, on a night that Corbin Reynolds hauls in 4 touchdowns. Gavin Hampton throws for 5. That's the offense I think we expected to see coming out of summer and coming out of the scrimmages. It was nice to see it in a region game here tonight, and those two guys connect.
Absolutely, and on the road, being able to do that, it's going to give them a lot of confidence, and hopefully they'll be able to carry it into next week and the week after and start really feeling like it. We talked about it coming into the game. We need them to feel loose. They got to feel more loose, feel like they're having fun, not worried so much about making mistakes or being perfect. And it certainly looked like they were tonight.
Gavin Hampton tonight unofficially 13 of 24, 293 yards passing, 5 touchdowns and an interception. The offers and the accolades, he's going to like seeing those numbers a little bit better than he's liked these first few weeks of the season. Not that he has played poorly, but he has high expectations of himself, and he'll be pleased with that 13 of 24, 293 yards and 5 touchdowns unofficially. Reynolds, you want to take any guess at what Reynolds hauled in tonight?
Okay, so obviously 4 touchdowns. I'm going to say let's go 177, 183.
A good guess. He had 6 completions unofficially for 201 yards, 4 touchdowns tonight. The touchdowns were of 35 of 6 of 80 and of 53. I mean,
Lord.
A big night for the Loretto transfer, the senior receiver, Corbin Reynolds. Jacob Vaughn hauled in 2 passes for 15 yards. Riley Talley, 2 for 28. Bonds caught a pass for 7. And Luke Tritch tonight, 3 catches, 47 yards. He had a touchdown of 10 yards tonight. Luke Tritch, the freshman, drew some of that attention. Corbin Reynolds took advantage, and he was the recipient of 4 touchdown passes from Hampton tonight. Jacob Vaughn, 10 carries, 49 yards. Corbin Reynolds had a carry for 8 unofficially. Hampton, 3 carries for 3 yards. Chris Peters tonight, 4 carries for 20 yards. And Coach Kreisky has been talking about, Ethan, that Chris Peters workload will increase as the season goes on. He really, producing 5 yards per carry, a lot of it coming once the game was in hand. But I think Peters in the running game will be an asset as the team moves forward.
And I think Peters will start to get worked into the offense a lot more once they figure things out on the offensive line. Because right now, if you know that you're going to struggle with opening lanes for your running backs, the last thing you want to do is force feed them. You want to take deeper shots. You want to do some other things in the passing game. But if they're able to figure out their issues on the offensive line, you're absolutely going to see that tandem of Vaughn and Peters really get going.
We're here in our post-game show on Aero Sports from the Aero Sports Press Box. Again, the final score, 44-7 Riverdale over Laverne. We're going to take our only break here of the post-game, come back and give you the 615 Prep scoreboard of scores from the Region 3-6A play as well as around Middle Tennessee, and wrap things up from Laverne High School. We'll do that in just 90 seconds. You're going to hear from Patrick Netherton, the Barbecue Hound. If you love good barbecue, if you love to know about barbecue, you want to follow the Barbecue Hound. That is a podcast available on YouTube. You can find it on all the places where you get your podcasts. Daniel Vaughn, the editor of Texas Monthly Magazine's Barbecue List, was his guest on episode 2. He's up to episode 7 now. You want to get in there and find out about great barbecue. He's had Tennessee guests on as well. Hear from the Barbecue Hound, and then we'll be back here to wrap things up from Laverne in 90 seconds. Again, the final score, Riverdale 44, Laverne 7.
So what can you expect from the Barbecue Hound with Patrick Netherton? There's 2 major platforms or 2 major kind of foundations that I want for this podcast. Good interviews, great interviews, pitmasters, tastes, trendsetters, taste setters, whatever, around the world of barbecue. And I want your listener, viewer interaction. Go and find us on any of our social media. We are the BBQ Hound on everything. Facebook.com/TheBBQHound, YouTube.com/@TheBBQHound. We're on Twitter and X @TheBBQHound. We're on Instagram @TheBBQHound. If you want to listen on any of your podcasting platforms, you can go on, let's say you're a Spotify user. Go to your podcast, search for The BBQ Hound, right? It'll pop up, follow. Daniel Vaughn, the barbecue editor of Texas Monthly Magazine, will join us for episode 2 of The Barbecue Hound with Patrick Netherton.
Chris Bosen and Ethan Marcum back here at Laverne High School, where the Riverdale Warriors moved to 2-2 on the 2025 season with a convincing 44-7 victory over the Laverne Wolverines. They're now 1-1 in Region 3-6A play. While Laverne falls to 0-4, they are 0-2 in region play. As we take a look at the 615 Prep scoreboard, I know you've got some scores of interest from around the region, Ethan.
Well, looking at region play, Blackman takes down Nolensville 42-7. That game was pretty much over at half. Stewart's Creek and Rockville, nobody knows what the score is right now because I've seen 4 different scores. At halftime, they originally said it was 17-3. Then it said 17-10 the fourth quarter. And then I was looking at it, it said 31-10, and now if you look at it, it says it's 10-9. So I don't know how that happens, but somewhere, some way, Rockville is currently up. Oakland downs Pearl Cone 38-6.
Now, hold on a second. The one I'm looking at shows Stewart's Creek up 10-9 on Rockville in the fourth.
I don't think anybody knows what's happening. There's a game being played in Rockville, Tennessee. I can tell you that. Outside of it, there's not much for me to guarantee
there. You
there.
go. Sorry to interrupt you. What was the next one?
Siegel took down Smyrna 13-10, or at least I think it's still in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter is what I've got, yeah.
But I've seen a few times, at least from the Siegel games, where it'll say fourth quarter, and then the final, it'll be like final score right after. So I don't know how quickly they update theirs.
And look, Siegel went on the road and pulled what I think was an upset at Stewart's Creek, last week. And so Siegel looking to move to 2-0 and stay right up there tied atop the region lead.
They look sneaky good in the season. Obviously, we talked about it earlier. 38-6, Oakland downs Pearl Cone. They look just phenomenal throughout the early stages of the season. Right now, we talked about it all year long. This region is shaping up to be about as good as any others.
Absolutely. Take a look at some other scores from around the mid-state and Tennessee as you can tune into the 615 Prep scoreboard show on YouTube tomorrow. DeKalb County leading Friendship Christian 21-17 in the fourth quarter. Springfield, they're doing a big feature on 615 Preps following Springfield all season long with video coverage and Joe Spears doing in-depth things up there with Chris Brooks as well. Springfield on top of Station Camp 55-28 in the fourth quarter. Gallatin, they lead Cookeville 41-24 in the fourth. Big game in the third quarter. Franklin Road Academy and JP2 38-35, Panthers lead the Knights in the third quarter. Franklin Road Academy with the lead. Antioch and McGavick, halftime score, 34-0 in favor of Antioch. Watertown in front of Giles County, 20-14. That's a second quarter score. Brentwood Academy goes to Chattanooga Christian and gets a 38-6 victory after Brentwood Academy's game last week was not played, even though Peyton Manning was on hand, Josh Heupel was on hand. They did not get that game in due to the weather. They get a win tonight. Ensworth-McCauley, who you got?
I believe Ensworth won that game 20-10, if I saw correctly.
Well, you did see. I would not have gone with Ensworth, probably. McCauley's been one of the top 2 teams in the state for most of the year. Blue Tornado fall at Ensworth tonight, 20-10. Ravenwood, 50. Summit, nothing. The Raptors are for real. Coach Ricky Rodriguez's squad, they want to get taking care of some unfinished business from a year ago. Coffee County, 7. Franklin 6. If you like defense, that was the game for you. Coffee County with the 1-point win. Page gets Brentwood, and that is a matchup between 2 county rivals that are in different classifications. The Patriots are for real. 30-0. They defeat Brentwood. The Commandos of Hendersonville, 33-14 over Rossview. Lebanon takes down Mount Juliet, 21-3. Wilson Central, Ethan Marcum's alma mater, a 12-3 victory over the James Lawson Lightning. As we take a look at some other scores from around Middle Tennessee, you mentioned the Blackman-Nolensville score, 42-7. Oakland, 38-6 over Pearl Cone. Clarksville, 35-14 over the Overton Bobcats. Here's a surprising score. Nashville Christian 3, Clarksville Academy 0. I don't know what happened there. That's TJ Ward, the TCU commit, Jared Curtis, the Georgia commit. 3-0 is the score. Nashville Christian the victor, but that is a wild score to see. Grace Christian 42-7 over Zion Christian. CPA falls to Muller out of Ohio 49-28. That's a big powerhouse program out of Ohio in an interstate game there at CPA. Middle Tennessee Christian, the Cougars win over Grace Baptist 63-0, and Heritage Patriots take down the White House Blue Devils 15-12. That's your 615 Preps scoreboard. You can watch the 615 Preps scoreboard show tomorrow on YouTube. Ethan, you've got our plays of our game as we wrap this up from Laverne, a 44-7 victory for Riverdale.
Well, as always, starting with our offensive play of the game, it's got to be Reynolds' first touchdown of the night, 3rd and 13. Hampton drops back and delivers an absolute dime all the way into the end zone to Reynolds. He goes up, snags it over 2 defenders. That set the tone, as Reynolds obviously had that big 200 yards and 4 touchdown night, and that got the offense rolling. Looking at the defense, it's going to be Elijah Ream's interception in the third quarter. This was right after Laverne finally started to get some momentum. They score on their first drive coming out of halftime. They have some momentum on offense, and then a big turnover forces them back out of that momentum. They didn't score again for the rest of the game. And then for special teams, it almost feels wrong to put this, but it was a great play outside of a penalty. It was Zayden Jones' almost punt return touchdown.
Yeah, Zayden Jones had a touchdown taken off the board due to a hold, and we've seen too much of that. That's the thing I think they've got to work on and go to work before they head to Stewart's Creek next Friday night, where we will be. That game will be simulcast for you as part of Stewart's Creek TV. We will do a network broadcast on that. We're going to work with the Stewart's Creek TV broadcast students there who do a great job with their coverage. So we'll be covering it. Equal enthusiasm on both sides next week, Ethan. That okay with you?
It's going to be fun.
It will be fun. The Red Hawks, they do a good job over there. It's always fun to go to Stewart's Creek. They put on a great spread in the press box with their culinary arts students, and it'll be a good place to go. We'll have that broadcast for you. But to get ready, I think they got to clear up those penalties, and you've still got to find some answers on that offensive line and get them some more confidence to be able to run the ball. I thought that they, from start to finish tonight, they looked better at the end of the game than they did at the start, and that's a good sign.
Absolutely. I mean, they made some adjustments at halftime, and they came out, looked like a better team in the second half. You definitely have some things to work on. We talked about it. Red zone play is my personal thing that I feel like they need to work the most on. There's obviously penalties that are taking points off the board. You got to be able to run the ball, find out your issues on the offensive line. But they looked like a good team tonight. They're back on track. First win in region play. And I'm sure that they're really looking forward to next week.
3 passing touchdowns coming into the ball game for Gavin Hampton. He adds 5 tonight. He goes up near 300 yards passing unofficially. Corbin Reynolds, 201 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. Luke Tritch, a touchdown on the night. And overall, a fun night for the Riverdale offense. Another just workmanlike night for the Riverdale defense. They always play well. They get another turnover tonight, but the streak's over for Aiden Emmons. No interception tonight for the senior linebacker.
It's unfortunate. He had some big plays, but really they kept the ball away from his side of the field a lot. He didn't get to come in too much, but everyone else on that Riverdale defense picked up the slack and just dominated against the Wolverines.
Riverdale is now 19-0 all time against Laverne. They have never lost to the Wolverines. They had met every year between 1999 and 2014, and they started the series in 89 and 90. They had recorded 5 shutouts. They almost got one tonight, but they didn't on the strength of the DeMoss touchdown. The last meeting between the two teams was back in 2013, a 34-21 Riverdale victory. And Riverdale adds a 44-7 win tonight. We saw a lot of laundry on the field tonight with penalty flags. What's your laundry situation and your plans for the weekend, Ethan?
Man, well, you know, I got Tennessee, Georgia tomorrow, so I can't do laundry tomorrow. And then Sunday there's NFL football, so obviously I can't do laundry on Sunday. And then, yeah, it won't be getting done the next couple days. I won't lie.
Well, I hope you find something clean in time for next Friday night against Stewart's Creek.
Oh, I will, yeah.
All right.
You know, I'll find some.
We'll be there for you. Thursday night, you'll have the Will Kreisky Show. That'll be our highlights from tonight's ballgame. That'll air 6 o'clock on aerosports.mixer.com and on Aerosports TN on our YouTube channel. Friday night, 6 o'clock, a replay of that Will Kreisky Show will air on aerosports.mixer.com. And then at 6:35, we'll be live from Stewart's Creek. That will be carried on Stewart's Creek Television as well as audio broadcast on aerosports.mixer.com. 7 o'clock will be the kick between Riverdale and Stewart's Creek with our network call. My thanks to the whole crew tonight. Nautica, Logan, Josh, Ethan, everybody involved that made this happen. We had a couple of Laverne guys help me bring some of this equipment up to the top. We'll have to take it all back down to the car. But a good night here at Laverne. 44-7 is your final. Riverdale now 2-2 overall. They're 1-1 in region play. Heading to Stewart's Creek next Friday night. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. My thanks to Tamara Blair, everyone at Riverdale, Coach Kreisky for making this possible, and to the Riverdale Quarterback Club for their sponsorship. We will talk to you on Thursday night with the Will Kreisky Show and Friday from Stewart's Creek. I'm Chris Bosen reminding you once again, be safe wherever you're at. I'm heading down to Sewanee to watch Vanderbilt Rugby take on the Sewanee Tigers and see what old number 74 can do there. Also sending best wishes to Vanderbilt as they travel to South Carolina and see if they can please take care of the Gamecocks and Beamer. That would be delightful, wouldn't it? Vanderbilt trying to start 3-0 for Coach Clark Lee. Enjoy college football wherever you're at. 44-7, Riverdale victorious tonight against Laverne. Chris Bosen for Ethan Marcum. Good night.